Hello, good evening. We are yet into another session of being informed and acquiring knowledge of programming. So, today we are beginning a fresh and a beautiful session about programming. Now, programming is something very, very interesting. Why is it interesting? To me, it is magical, it is full of magic. It is something that also taps into your other side of the brain, so that you can be able to think beyond a normal average human. So I know some of you might have heard about it before somewhere, or some of you might not have heard about it. Then those who must have heard about it before, programming as a term, it is used in a variety of fields. For example, if someone is working on TV or radio, they can schedule or they can schedule programs and times. They can schedule programs and times. So that is already programming. But here, the programming that we want to talk about is the programming in the world of computers, is programming in the world of technology, is programming in the world that we live in. So, if someone asks, what is programming? Programming is the process. Programming is the process or the activity of writing computer programs. Okay, the activity or a process. The activity or a process of writing computer programs. Now, if someone talks about a computer, then your mind should be wider opened. A computer can mean a mobile phone. A computer can mean anything that allows processing of data, then does what we call storage. Okay, processing of data, then storage, and outputting in any form that is meaningful, to the user. Okay, don't mind about my spellings, but it's good I type as I'm talking, so you can try to listen as you're trying to note down something. So basically, that is what we call programming. So computer programming goes really quite far. Among the things that are involved, it involves designing. Okay, then it involves building. These are all activities, which takes us back to saying a process or an activity. In the end, what will you have? Results of programming. You're going to have what we call a system. You're going to have what we call an application, or what of late you guys refer to as an app. You're going to have a program. When programming occurs, you are going to have what we call software. Some of these terms might be used interchangeably, but all in all, what I wanted to put out was, after programming has taken place, you'll come up with a system, or you'll come up with an app, or you'll come up with a program, or you'll come up with a software. So that is the target of programming. Now, each time we talk about programming can be split into a number of sections. One, it can be web programming. Two, it can be software programming. Okay, web means we are focused on writing. We are focused on writing or developing or designing systems. Okay, systems or applications that are targeting the web. Okay, now when it comes to software, here the target is standalone, okay, devices, or in terms of applications. Okay, like you have a computer at home or somewhere, and you're developing an application that will work with that. But specifically when it comes to the web, we are targeting the web. So each time someone talks about programming, two sections should always come into your mind: split, that is web and software. Okay, so for today's session, that is briefly our introduction that we are going to have about programming. Okay, back again to this session. Now, whenever programming is to take place, or whenever someone is to do programming, it means they need to use a certain medium of communication. A certain medium of communication. Why do I talk about communication? Programming is done by a category of people which we know as programmers. Sometimes they are called coders, sometimes they are called developers, sometimes they are called software engineers. They have quite a number of names, but in their activities, or in the activity of programming, we communicate to the computer. We tell the computer to perform certain tasks through writing sets of instructions, and these are known as source code. Okay, sets of instructions. So as you write these sets of instructions, as you write the source code, in actual sense you're communicating to the device, you're communicating to the computer, telling it what you want to do. Okay, that is why we say sets of instructions. But that certain medium of communication which we talked up here, or which we talked about up here, that medium of communication is known as programming languages. Is known as programming languages. So these programming languages are used by programmers or coders or developers or software engineers to communicate to the devices through writing sets of instructions so that that device or the computer can perform specific instructions. Are we together? Are we moving? So programming languages have the following types. Programming languages have the following types. One, we have what we call procedural programming languages. Two, we have what we call functional programming languages. Then we have what we call object-oriented programming languages. These ones are known as okay. Then we have what we call scripting languages. Then we have what we call logic programming languages. Okay, basically those are the few that I can talk about: functional programming languages, procedural programming languages, object-oriented programming languages, scripting languages, then logic programming languages. Then when we talk about those different types of programming languages, I might not go into details for them, but of course one thing that I forgot to talk about is if your target is to become a programmer, each time you receive an eye opener, it is always advised that you go deep and try to have some research on your own. That is the only way you can become better. So what I'm doing right now is I'm creating an eye opener, okay, about the world of programming. So whoever is watching this video, wherever you are, what you need to know is that programming requires someone to have extra efforts of research and practice. So examples of programming languages. We have Java, we have JavaScript, we have Objective-C, we have the Go language, we have Python, we have C language, we have the C++ language, we have the C# language, we have the VB.NET language, we have the F#. There are quite a number of languages that we can interact with. Okay, now in this session we can have quite a number of questions that can help someone make research on your own. One, what is the difference between a system and a program? Okay, up there I talked about what happens or the results of programming. Here I said we can always have a system, an application, blah 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 blah. So here I would like that if you're watching this video, it is so helpful that you try to identify the difference between a system and a program. Then what is source code? Okay, what is source code? Then 3, what is a programming language? What is a programming language? Then 4, suggest the different categories of programming languages. Okay, up there I talked about their different types, where we had procedural, functional, object-oriented, scripting, logic, but these types fall under certain categories. So it will be very nice if someone has watched this video, then went ahead to find out more details about the categories of programming languages. Okay, so for any questions, for any assistance, for any detailed interaction, you can find me at programmerslife@gmail.com, or you can reach me out on WhatsApp at 0751824973. Okay, I'm an expert. At least I've interacted with quite a number of languages in my 10 years of programming, and I'm ready to share with you, and that is going to be evident in the different sessions that I'm going to be dropping around while we are talking about quite a number of aspects in the field of programming. Okay, so this was just an introduction, but the target as to why we had an introduction is coming in our next episode of this video. Thank you. Have a good evening.